Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming. We've got Gary with us today. Lots to talk about. But how you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for letting me come on to your show, Josh.
That's all right. We'll share hopefully some knowledge and your experience getting qualified. I think we've been qualified around the same time. You're saying about just coming up to 2 years, is it for you?
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. And I'm a full-time ADI now, so this is it. This is what I do. This is my bread and butter.
So how did you find the qualifying process then? From the start, research, figuring out how you was going to qualify, what school you was going to work with, if you was going to work with one. Um, how did you find that? And how did you find actually qualifying in the test, stuff like that?
I looked around. I started the process over 16 years ago, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Uh, I got made redundant, and I thought, what are we going to do? Came into some money as well. I said I'll do driving instructor because that's something that I felt I'll be quite good at. And people tell me I was good. I had my sons. I put them through sort of from driving, not for their test, but for some driving, and I felt happy with that. Um, I paid my money, went to a company in Peterborough, but we set up a business as well. My wife's business, a florist business, and that really took over. Really, I didn't really take my training any further. Passed my part one, failed my part two, and I didn't really take it any further. To be honest, I then put all my time into the business basically. So I lost that money and etc. etc. So during lockdown, we closed the business down. Um, what am I going to do now? So I said, well, I went on the driving instructor bit, so let's do that again. So I looked around, had a look to see what I could do, who was offering the best deals, etc. And I think you're right. Do you go by yourself? Do you go with a company? What offers they give you? What training do they give you? Lots of people out there. Bill Plant, the big people, and the AA, and the bigger companies, especially around here, around Milton Keynes. There's a larger company. I could mention their names if you want me to. But I thought I need to go with a company. Give me stuff and I'll sit down and I'll do it. I think. So during lockdown, I paid the money and there I was. During my other activities that I do, which we can go through later, but I was sitting down most of the time looking through all the material online, which is good. But I think you're right, Josh. It's hard. I'm 50, a little bit plus. Someone to sit down again to do training, learning. You know, it's hard. So I had to rethink uh, and just be hard on myself to sit down in front of the computer screen and start working through everything they gave me and be very very conscious that this is gonna take a long time, especially through lockdown, and hopefully at the end of the day it's gonna pay me some money.
So you said that you failed a part two maybe a couple of years ago. What
More than
happened?
a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago. Yeah, yeah, 16 odd years ago.
Do you remember what happened on your part two?
Ah,
And did you
well,
learn from it for what was your part two? I guess this time now you qualified,
yeah,
or
I
was
think I
it
did.
completely
Yeah,
different?
I don't know. I think this time I think I was being more conscious, more focused, if you like, taking it more seriously. Probably back then I wasn't taking it seriously, and I don't know why. I think I had other distractions for the business, my wife's business and stuff like that. So, and I had to travel to Peterborough every time, and it was just from Milton to Peterborough all the time to go to their college and stuff like that. And even though it was good, but I just didn't. I probably wasn't taking it that seriously. Um, and yeah, my part two was just a shambles. It was. I had a Kia Sedona, big 7-seater car, and I didn't know that, and I took it in that. I didn't take it in in the instructor's car, in the college car, if you like. I took it in my Sedona, and yeah, it was just a nightmare. Must admit, I just wasn't prepared, and I was humbly embarrassed that I failed my driving test.
So how did you
But
get on with your part two this time round?
I'll pass it with flying colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think only two minors, but I was more conscious. I was more focused. I knew what to do. Um, I had a great trainer, Dave, who's not local, but he's in around the area. And he found another instructor in that area that I was taking my part to, and I went round with him, paid my money like any normal punter would. And I went round with him, and he was very good. He showed me around the areas and what things to look out for. So on test day, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I like driving anyway. So and I passed with, let's say, the two minors, which I was very pleased with.
Did you have to change much of your driving to pass your part two?
Definitely.
Yeah, so you picked up a few bad habits since the one
Yeah, don't we
quite a
all?
few years ago.
Don't we all? Don't we all? And that's a good thing, isn't it? You know, I know we can go on like this for a long time. You know, about people retesting on a certain time. Do they retest? You know, that'll put a big hammer in the system and blow the system out of the water. Not going to cope with it. But you know, yeah, I had to get rid of all my bad habits. You know, on their driving. You know, like this, you know. So, you know, loads of bad habits, you know, observation, wow, you know, speed limits and stuff like that. So yeah, it really was a big training process for me.
So we got to before I lost internet and electricity, we got to your part three. So are you happy to go into again how you found your part three, your training for it, and the actual process itself?
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy to do that. As my part three uh was daunting. Was you know, it was coming up and it was daunting. Where I think we're all frightened of someone sitting in the back seat and looking at how we do things. The preparation for it through the company that I was going through was good. Um, I looked at loads of videos, took lots of advice from people, from my trainer, um, uh, but it was still scary. Obviously, finding someone to come with me as well, one of my pupils. I think to be honest with you, I think I overthought it. I failed my first part three. I missed it by 2 points. I think I overthought it. So I went back, did some more training, listened to more people, and to be honest with you, the second time, um, I didn't overthink it. I just relaxed a little bit more, took it as a normal lesson, a different person I took out, and enjoyed it more. I think relaxed a little bit more, enjoyed it more, and passed with a grade B. I'm nice of a grade A, but you know, passed with a grade B. You know, I could go through the exam and then never gives grade A's out this one, but you know, it was me. I passed it, and that was what I was happy with. So, yeah, I think the first one was just a lot of stress, just a lot of stress. And I think I learned through that process. Did it completely different the second time round, and still done it the same subjects, roundabouts. I can't remember roundabouts or something else. Um, but I just did it differently. I just relaxed a little bit more and did it differently.
So what was the feedback for your first one then? That you failed? Did the exit? Can you remember what the examiner said
Yeah,
and what improvements you needed to make?
yeah. I was asking the questions, but I was answering them for him.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, what are we seeing ahead? Can you see that van ahead? Can you see the little people underneath there? What are you going to do? Are you going to go around that type of stuff? So, you know, I was answering for him. and that was a biggie, definitely. And I think that my route was too easy for him as well. He was ready for his test. This guy took, and the other feedback was it was too easy. It wasn't challenging for him. Um, so I took it as I went round it quite a few times with quite a few other people. I thought this is quite a good route. It involves roundabouts. What's it does? Oh, roundabout. I think the mirrors. I think observation. I think it was. And I just got feedback saying it's just too easy. I had a good feedback that I had a good rapport with him. But again, it was just I was asking the questions, but wasn't answering the right questions, and I was answering so on most of them myself. So
Was that the biggest change that you made for your second part three, or was there other
definitely,
things that you kind
definitely,
of, yeah, it
definitely,
was.
yeah, definitely one of the biggest ones. And I relaxed a little bit more as well, as I said. Same sort of subject, same subject, but different routes, and just relax a lot more. Why we're doing this, tell me, what you're going to be doing when you approach this. Yeah. Why did you do that? Yeah. So, I mean, we had a discussion from there, so a little bit more relaxed and a little bit harder route probably as well. So I felt more comfortable. So that was a good part three. I learned a lot from it. And I took that into my driving, as well. I learnt by that and then took it into my driving and my day to day, in car with people. So.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience. I failed my first part three and passed my second.
Yeah.
But my first one, it wasn't really the questions, but
Right.
I was given the information way too late and too quick. And my student at the time didn't have chance to process the information, act on the information before I was saying the next thing.
Right.
So a lot of learning from one part three to the next one, which was good. So
I
how are
think
you
it.
finding? Oh,
I,
go.
sorry. I think it's scary because you've only got three chances, haven't you? And I know a colleague who was on her third, and she was petrified. We went down to McDonald's and tried to calm her down and and talk through it. Said you'll be fine, just relax, and stuff, But she got through her part. It got through on the third attempt. But it's just that looming on top of you, isn't it? Oh, Christ, if I don't get this one, I've read it's my last attempt. So it looms on you and it just puts more stress onto you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's through the few people that I've spoke to so far with the podcast is the training beforehand and the pressure that comes, especially when you know there's only three and you're going for that third attempt, it can be extremely stressful. I think one of the biggest difficulties I had was the first student that I took knew what the test was and what was almost on the line for me. She
Right.
knew it was this is his final test to become like a real driving instructor because I was only teaching for free. But the
Yeah.
second student, I didn't really tell him what it was. I was like, oh, we're going to have an examiner out. He's going to be watching how I teach. You're happy to come and be a student? He was like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. And it wasn't until we'd finished that I really told him kind of what the actual outcome of the test was. Um, and I think that had the student, I mean, I don't know, my first one was nervous, but it was because of what I was doing teaching. My teaching was way off and it was putting pressure on the student. But my second one, the student was a lot more relaxed and didn't feel like I've got to pass this for him. And that was, I think, another difference.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I think I basically said the same to my people that the second one. Look, I just got someone in looking at me. Don't worry. I didn't actually tell them on the day. I just said, look, okay, I'm going. We're going to the test center. I've got someone just looking at me. Wants to have a look, see how I drive. No pressure on you. We'll just, continue the next sort of half hour or so. Doing exactly the same sort of thing, same subject, and just go with the flow, and it worked. I think that part one was a good thing. I don't think I don't think I went through a mock test, even with, going to it. I don't think anyone, I don't know. Have you spoke to anyone who's gone through a mock test for a part three?
Um, Not a mock test for a part three. I've seen bits online. But the biggest benefit I had, I don't know whether you've done the same, was I was sitting in one of my friends. He's qualified. We qualified about the same time, but we was watching each other's lessons and almost critiquing on that. Obviously, we wasn't ADIs. He was a
Right.
PDI on a pink license. I was teaching for free. Um, but just sitting and watching what they're doing, taking notes,
Right.
made a huge difference. But as for a mock test, I didn't. I done my 40 hours and then
Yeah.
off I went teaching for free and just kind of watching stuff online.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the feedback was huge from the examiner after my first one. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's go and make
Yeah.
some changes. Let's go
Yeah.
learn and go from there.
Yeah, and I think it's good to have that feedback, doesn't it? That sort of 10 minutes away, just that feedback, just to get that feedback, really. But must admit, I did have the part of my training, I had the trainer in the back of my car with another student, and I just said to the other student that we just got this guy sitting in the back. Don't worry about it. We'll have a chat about that later, sort of thing. And I told him why he's there and what he's doing for me. So my trainer looked at me to see if I was doing it right or wrong, and he gave me a few tips and pointers. So maybe that was a sort of a mock test in a way. But that was my first part, my before I failed. So the second one, I didn't go through anything like that. I just changed the way I do things, and relaxed a little bit more.
That definitely makes a difference when you're more relaxed. Same with the students on a normal driving test.
Yeah. Oh
As
yeah.
soon as the nerves kick in, it
Yeah.
becomes challenging.
Big time.
Um,
Big time. Big time. Yeah. You get someone who says, "Oh, I'm not nervous," and I found and says, "Oh, I was nervous." Once I got in that car, and I went off. Oh, I was nervous. I said, "Yeah, it showed." you know. Yeah.
so how are you finding it now you're qualified then as a job, business? How are you finding it?
Everyone asks that question. Is it good for you? Are you okay earning money for it? Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Working my hours that I want to. Trying to get the time off for other bits I need to do. So that allows me that sort of flexibility. Um, some days are stressful, definitely. Especially when you've got a whole day full of just people not just not going in their heads, and you have to go over things time and time again, and find out the way they want to learn, and it takes a little while. So it is stressful, but enjoyable. You've got to think that you're taking these people right from not driving a car before to to a life skill. I call it a skill for life. You know, um, and that's a big thing. It is. I'm not just teaching them to pass their test. It's a skill for life. It's something that going to open the world to them. And I've seen loads of people who I've who have passed, and they're just saying it's great. I've been here, I've been there, and it's just really opened the world for me. So that really is gives you the buzz, at the end of the day, seeing you through so many lessons and then getting you to the test. It's great. It's great.
Good. Are there any oh, any challenges that you've almost come across that you wasn't expecting when you decided to start the process and where you're at now? Are there any things you wish you'd have known when you started, opposed to trying to figure it out later down the line?
That's a good question, isn't it? Um, I don't know. There's loads of things out there about your part three. And there's loads of things out there about being a driving instructor. There's lots of companies that give all the blurb out the saying, no, it's the best in science page. You can earn this amount of money, blah blah blah. Um, Everyone's different. every all my pupils different. They all learn differently. They've all got different needs, different goals. Um, some want it sort of tomorrow. Some want it, don't care. They'll do it when they do it. It's just a mismatch of people that I've met. Any advice right from the very beginning? Um, it, yeah, I think it's a lonely job, maybe. Um, the company that I'm franchised with, we do have regular chats monthly, and there's lots of standard check things going on, and other training and other surgeries, which is good. We formed a group of us who work for the same franchise. We formed a group, and we have a WhatsApp chat, and we talk quite regularly on how we're doing, and we've had a couple of meetings. Out for the meal and the drinks and a few things to socialize a bit more, just to chew the fat. Um, but I think it's just to say that it is a lonely job. It's worth talking to other people around, and understanding family. That's really it. If I don't think anyone could have given me any advice at the beginning. I knew I wanted to do it, um, and here I am doing it. Yeah, lonely but rewarding. But rewarding.
So that's something I need to set up around here, or maybe I'm not involved in it. I don't know, but I've got a couple of people that I talk to now, driving instructors, which definitely makes it easier. We've had situations where cars have broke the morning of a driving test, and you're like, uh-oh, got to reach out to someone now. So I guess, yeah, the loneliness can be an issue, but you said you got a WhatsApp group, so you can all kind of talk to each other, meet up, which must be good.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a couple of WhatsApp groups going. One of us sort of within the franchise, and a couple for the area that I'm in. There's two that I'm involved in. Don't know why there's two. Well, I know why there's two, because there's two big companies, BSM and AA, have set one up sort of locally. But I've been invited onto that one, and there's some other people who aren't in those franchise that are in there as well. So they've opened up and actually joined in their group. So I've actually just got a WhatsApp through whilst I'm here, got WhatsApp through to join their fantasy football league. So
oh,
yeah, so that'll be good. So we'll have a fantasy football league and ADI PDI championship apparently. So yeah, I'm into football. So yeah, let's go for it.
what's your team?
What my team I support?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Arsenal.
Okay, I'm not that into football. It's
Uh,
always a when the students get in there. Oh, do you follow football? Nope, no
all right.
idea.
Yeah,
I
you have that conversation, don't you? What do you do? What's your hobbies? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I've got quite a few Tottenham, Man City, Man United, and we always have a little dig. It's part of it, isn't it? The football. I'm not going to hold it against them. I told them to get out and walk a couple of times, but it's all part of it. I take it seriously. It is what it is. It's a game at the end of the day. And it's not going to stop the world from going around. So.
yeah, it's good having that common ground with the students, or at least something, even if it's not the same team, you at least follow it. That's the World Cup. Was it the World Cup or the Euros? One of the big ones. I had something to talk about from there.
Yeah.
But most of the people down here I'm in Swindon, but most of my students are United fans for some reason. They'll be City fans in a couple of seasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's rather fickle. Some people are rather fickle. My sister, she used to follow the team that's been good at the time. But I've been Arsenal through and through. Just born in Islington, so stone's throw away from Arsenal. So I'm Arsenal through and through.
There we go. So what else have you got going on then? Should we talk about the association that you're starting?
Well, that's a good link, isn't it? Hey, yeah. Do you
Yeah, let's do
See
that.
that?
From football to association. Let's do it.
See that seamless link?
Yeah. I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, obviously, I'm as I told you, I'm trying to set up this Milton Keynes Driving Instructors Association. Association is probably not the right word for it. Association. You look up association, and it's just a group of people really that if it turns to association, it turns to association. But I think it's just a group of people who are like-minded, concerned, want to talk about the local area, help in many ways, helping getting the pass rate up, local pass rate up, help our learners with this attitude of anxiety, etc. Um, and it's just many other things, road signs, road markings, having a voice within the local area, and telling the council that they can need to do things, etc. So I think the remit of it's going to be quite wide, and when we sit down as a group and have a look at it, it's going to be what we're going to try to achieve, our aims, ambitions, etc. is going to be quite wide. So it's I've started the ball rolling. We've got the letter out. Lots of people want to be involved within the groups that I'm going. So as soon as I get an answer back from them, we'll see what we can do. Go from there. Hopefully, they'll grasp it with open arms. If they're not, be very upset, and I'll probably go around and have a knock on their door and have a chat.
So what is the pass rate in your area at the moment?
The Bletchley one is 44%.
Okay. I think
I think Northampton is, I think, 49%. It used to be 49%, but it's dropped to 44. So I think there's not a lot of areas that, I think there's a few above 50%, but not many. So let's strive to have a look to see what we're doing wrong as instructors. Yeah, let examiners give some feedback. What are we doing wrong? Okay, there's a certain area. Why are we doing that wrong? Yeah, what are you looking for here? Yeah, observation. Okay, can't do much about that, but and lots of other things. Road skills and stuff like that. But there are certain areas that, okay, that's always come up. So it's an interesting question that someone said, and we spoke about road signs, but someone said, well, leave the road signs and the road markings as they are, because if they're overgrown and you can't see the road signs, the examiner's got to tell you where to go. So you here it's not very well marked, get in the right hand lane. It's here it's not very well marked because it's get in the left hand lane. So yeah, it gives you a little bit of hand. So there's some mixed feelings about that area, but it's just normal driving. When you're trying to teach someone, you got to go in the middle lane. That's the best way to go into, and someone cuts you up on the right hand lane or left hand lane. You've got to justify doing that way and accept it. So if the road markers are clear and the road signs are clear, you say, look, this is the right way of doing it. So what they did was wrong, sort of thing.
Have you had any feedback from the examiners yet?
Some of them, well, we haven't got many in our local area, and that's something else which part of the hopefully association we can deal with, or not help with, but at least understand the reasons why. Well, I didn't say Milton Keynes is us, and we're now a new city, and the place that we have is it's an old shack. You heard of the Bletchley Park, obviously the touring and etc. The code break. It's one of their old shacks basically,
Okay.
and it's still there. So they're working out of that. It's not a very big car park. It can only hold about 6 or 7 in it. So for a city, really, it's not ideal. But me saying that, I know lots of others. Leighton Buzzard has got a large area and a large place. Northampton, etc. Bedford don't have a place where they sit. They're allowed to sit outside. So it's interesting. So hopefully, I'm going to plug this in because this is going to die in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll have another power cut. and it'd be my fault. Hold on a minute. There we go. I thought, why has it gone dull all of a sudden? Ah, gone into power mode. There we go.
Oh, you've gone all jumpy. Are you back?
Am I okay now?
Yes, yeah, we're back now. It must have just been
Yeah,
your computer
yeah,
going again.
yeah. It was the uh power down. Oh, I'm gonna go in a minute.
There we go, we're back. So there's lots of aspirations, I guess, then for the association. What's your timeline at the minute? You said you've sent the letters out. Is that to ADIs, examiners? Are you approaching MPs, anything like that? MPs, your local councillors? I don't know how it all works.
Yeah, yeah. I've only just sent the letter to the test centre manager at the moment. To say, look, this is the idea we've got. We've got quite a few people in our WhatsApp group, in our Facebook group, that want to get involved. There's other areas that do this type of stuff where they have a morning surgery where we just basically have a pop in and we can maybe bring a learn around, have a look at the area because you're not allowed into the test centres, so let them come in. Someone with ADHD wants to know where they're going. Yeah. What they need to expect, who they may be talking to. So let's set them at ease and tell them, this is the place you're going to be. This is where you're going to go. This is the toilet. These are the sort of the people around, sort of thing. So when they go on the day, it's not a complete and utter surprise to them. And it puts them at ease, puts them at rest. Um, so I've at the moment I've only just sent the letter to the test centre manager saying that let's have these open days, let's have these open forum discussions, either face to face or whatever. It's a great idea talking about it. If I don't get a reply or if he doesn't or they don't want to, I'm basically knocking on their door with not a list of people to say, look, number 10, this is I've got this so many people, I've got 10,000 people. That's just to explain why and what we want to do. If the letter book itself, it's mandatory, and just sit and find out the reasons why and try to get other people to sort of have a chat with the examiners and try to force it that way.
So you said about taking your students to the test centre to show them around. Is that something you do for your students at the minute? Is there any capability to do that?
No, I don't. It's tricky, isn't it? Because we're not allowed into a test centre, are we, to drive in? Well, we're not allowed in most ones I've been into. We're not allowed to drive in and park or test or do anything. So one in Bletchley, you can, and then Kings, you can wait outside and walk in. But I do that myself if I'm going to go for a quick restop and it's just around the corner. I go, because you're always liable to that, especially my age. But then I haven't done it, no. And I feel that really I need permission sort of to go in and do it. And if they had open days or open mornings or whatever, Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings or whatever, I know they don't work a lot of Sundays, a lot of ones around here, they work the rule. But at least it's something that, we're not all the same. We're all different. We're all can be treated differently. And there's lots of ill health around at the moment with not just the 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, but some of the adults as well. So, it's just one of the areas I want to help out with. And lots of other people have said the same thing, not just with the road markings and getting the rate up. That's just one of the areas that I like to help out with. We can set these evenings up and meet everybody and put everyone at rest so they know what they're doing. They know what they're. You can tell people, can't you? Okay, when you go to the test centre, you're going to do a eyesight test. Okay, let's do 20 meters now and let's have a look. Yeah. You're going to be spoken to. Some are quite chatty, some are quite miserable. So, but actually meeting them at the time, is something that's quite daunting. So let's have a chat. Let's meet them. So that's the sort of the idea. MPs, I don't know. At the moment, it's, MPs, local councils and stuff. At the moment, it's just let's talk to them, then get that going underway. Let's get a group of people who want to do it. If we call it association, we call it association or whatever. If we want to talk to the local MPs or the department that looks after road markings, or has an idea about how these roundabouts work. As you know, Milton Keynes is full of roundabouts. Yeah, it's a start, isn't it? It's building those, putting the lay foundations down, and we'll just see where we go from there.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'll be interested to hear how you get on with it, especially now you said you've sent the letter, so you're waiting on a reply for that. It'd be interesting to hear how you get on and see where it grows to. But
They definitely keep you up to date, obviously.
do you have any routines to prepare your students before their driving test? I know you've mentioned that you want to help with the pass rate and you'd like to be able to get students in. What kind of things do you do the lesson before or the day of the driving test to try and put your students at ease?
I think that's so individual, isn't it? It's so individual. Um, Always go through the show and tell. I always pick them up an hour beforehand. Um, you know, Ask them what their concerns are, what they need to go through. They need to go through parallel path again. What do they want to have a look at? Just to in their heads, just to make sure they're okay with. So we're going to do it. Um, Go and sit. The guy get there 20 minutes beforehand, and just sit outside and just relax. Get out of the car, yeah, stretch your legs, bottle of water or whatever, just to relax, and then obviously get him to drive in and park up. But I think it's just trying to individually, okay, what are you trying to go through? So as I say, some people are just, yeah, I'm okay. It is what it is. I'm relaxed. But when they come for a test, they take it and they fail. They go, wow, that wasn't what I was expecting. Well, what was you expecting? Well, I thought I'll be more calm with it. I'm not usually that nervous on tests. Well, I said, well, is it the preparation? Is there anything I can do different to help you, or is anything that any preparation that you have feedback? And some will come up with good things. Bottle of water. Getting out of the car. Some would prefer probably just to go straight there without the hours beforehand. But yeah, I listen to the feedback, listen to what they feel, and then obviously people who pass first time, second time, or whatever, I still get feedback from them. Okay, what did I do? What do you think we can do better? To help other students and stuff like there. So, and then people say, oh yeah, the hour beforehand was great. We really went through that and calm the nerves down. So pluses and minuses for that hour. So I think it's everyone's different. I think we've all find that, haven't we? Yeah, I think you'll probably find it's different. Everyone's different. Yeah, they all have different needs, all have different goals. Some are quite cocky, some are quite, scared, and it's somebody for their job, don't they? Yeah, some youngsters. I've got a youngster at the moment who's got a job at BMW and needs to drive to go to Farnborough, so he's under a lot of pressure to drive, and his parents are, doing his best, putting more pressure on him. So the lad's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a lot of things that I'm looking at the minute to try and improve my knowledge around the nerves and helping my students. I know there's a few workshops that can be done that
Yeah,
I'm going to be looking at, because nerves are something that I don't know. I try as much as I can, but on the day there is the occasional. I don't know. It's odd. They do things that they haven't done on a lesson for such a long time, and it's just 3 seconds, but it was dangerous, and
mm.
the examiner has given the feedback that they have. So yeah, preparing them is something that I think is extremely individual, but the more I can learn about nerves and preparation, I guess the better.
There are companies out there, isn't there? There are companies out there that specialize in it. If you go to the conferences that are coming up, October and stuff. The ones I think there are companies around there that especially deal with those and have workshops and stuff. So that's really good to be and go and look at that.
Yeah, I'll be going to that one, early October, I think it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I've got that one. Got me free tickets already.
Yes, yeah, I've got mine. They're set. We're ready to go.
So
What advice?
maybe we'll see you there then,
Oh, definitely.
and mull over a cup of tea.
Let's do it. It's going to be good bumping into a lot of people. There seems to be a lot of people going.
You can have your
But
sign
moving,
up. You can have your sign up. YouTube. Who I am. On top of your head.
then I have to pretend I know what I'm doing. It's all
We'll
right on
all
Zoom. I can hide. I can turn the computer off and tell you I've had a power cut. So what advice would you give to people in the industry then? Have you had any, you're clearly networking with quite a few people in the area. What lessons have you learned since passing that you think are worth sharing?
talk to other people. Talk to other people within the industry. Um, go out with them socially. Just chat with them. Uh, some people just do it and just a 9 to 5 and switch off. I don't think that is. I don't think it is that type of role. Always looking about, you know, what you want to do next. How can you improve it? There's always seminars, there's also webinars, there's also places to help you. There's loads of people out there that can help. Um, Loads of things out there. It's just finding, and there's some, there's some. I hate to say it, but there are some ADIs that have been out for maybe a long time. That have got some good information. There's some that are just they need to get another job or retire. Some of the advice is just wow. I wouldn't do that, and things have changed. It's just a different age maybe when they went through it. But I think it's just try to find as much information as you can to help you. Listen to your student. Um, I was very much wound into this. The standards check and you get pulled in after a year, and you have to go through the whole thing again. That was on my mind a lot, but now yeah, whatever. I won't take a pupil unless they're ready. You've got to be honest with them. But yeah, things happen. It's just life. Um, and you have to accept that they will fail. And hopefully they'll learn from it. Don't put pressure on yourself, but every time it's a fail, you just got to learn from it. Okay, get some feedback and go from there. Really, was it you? Was it them? Could we do something different? What's happening? So, um, hopefully, you're still learning as you go along. There's always different ways of doing stuff. So, any advice to people? Really, just get in touch with as many people as around. Get your circle of people. Find if there's an association or group of people around the area that do some social stuff. Get involved with it. The Spotty event. Whoa, I'll talk about the Spotty event. Spotty car. Have you heard about the Spotty car, Josh?
The Spotty Kai, is that the relay?
Yeah,
Yes, I've not, but when is that?
that's September time.
Yeah, I wasn't involved last year. I I've seen it. I know of it. Maybe I
I,
need to
I,
do some networking for September.
yeah, I got involved. I got involved. I sent you the form.
How was that?
I got involved last year. It's very good, actually. It is very good. So you get some great comments. You get spots all over your car. You get some. You get if I didn't do it, but if you get some publicity, that helps. Kids love it. And it goes to the school run and Pugsy and stuff. So I know some people use it really effectively with their advertising for the school and they raise a lot of money. It's a good inlet into learning who's around you. If you don't meet them at the test center and have a chat with the test center, this is a good time to sit down and have a good old chat. We actually went to the meal and the evening thing as well, right at the very end of it all. And that was quite interesting. That's good. Fancy dress and a meal and a a few drinks, as you say, and a dance. So that's quite interesting. That's not of a social. Met quite a few people there, not in my local area, out and about as well. That's good to know. You know, and I still keep in contact with them, how they're doing. So, and it's all for a good cause, obviously, as well.
Yes. So you'll be doing that again this
I will
September,
be.
did you say?
I will be. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get some. We'll start to get some bits through the door soon to start sticking on cars.
Good to know. Yeah, something that I'll be looking into. We'll get the links off you later or the info. Um, see what it entails, and definitely the message that I get off a lot of people is the reaching out and networking, figuring out who's out there. Because like you said, there's some good information out there and some not so good, depending on what platform you're looking at, and where you're getting that information from. You
Yeah.
said you was watching stuff online in preparation for, was it your part two, part three
Yeah.
when you was
Yeah.
training?
Yeah.
Was there any useful information that you came across there, opposed to just what the school was giving you?
I don't think I could point to anyone, any site particular. I was just taking bits from videos. You know, if I see a video I didn't disagree with it, I went, oh, that's not like this. You know, I just don't really want to that. That's not right. You know, and then there's something there that goes, oh, that's good. That's thought provoking. Yeah, maybe I'll think about that and try that next time around, sort of thing. So, um, I don't think there's one particular source. Hopefully, there will be soon. But I don't think there was one particular source that I could say that actually that really did help me. There's a local guy come around here who does a lot of videos for learners. Um, yeah, yeah, that's okay for learners, but obviously for people who are doing part two and part three, you know, there's just a mishmash of stuff out there. So, but it helped. It helped. I think it's just digging through the rubbish and maybe asking a few silly questions and seeing what you get back. But I don't think I could actually say to you, yeah, Josh, go to www or YouTube block, subscribe to this, and say this really did help me. I don't think I can actually say that hand on heart at the moment, Josh.
We will get there. So what else have you got going on then? You've got your association or start of seeing where it goes. Are you doing anything else? You got anything else coming up?
I'm busy. We've had a quick chat obviously in the past. I'm busy. I'm very heavily involved in scouting. Obviously we've got the spotty car thing coming up, but heavily involved in scouting. I do a lot of radio stuff, not ham radio or walkie-talkie radio. It's actual internet radio with the kids. We're creating podcasts for them now. We did a lot during lockdown, which is good. Kept them busy. We did camps online. We did 24-hour stuff. We did Zoom stuff. We did all sorts of YouTube stuff. We did lots of stuff. So yeah, scouting is just not within a hall. We learned to go digital. We learned to use the equipment we got. Um, we're lucky enough that we got Zoom for the association for free. So that's good for Scout Association. And that helped us during the lockdown, trying to get through to all our kids and our leaders and stuff, trying to keep things going and, give them other stuff to concentrate on. And I also do a show every year for the kids as well. I'm the producer of a show. So I get busy with my wife and many, many grandchildren. uh, not just them, but just within local area. It's a Scout Gang show, and those people who may not know about Scout Gang shows, we celebrated 90 years nationally of them last year. So a guy called Ralph Reeder set them up, and they used to be on television, the black and white. Used to be on the Palladium stage. So yeah, used to be televised. So go and have a look on YouTube. There's quite a few out there. 125, I think there was in the UK the last count.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been very instrumental in setting it up. I'm not part of it, but there's a reason why I'm not. But we set up a support group for them as well. So I do all the paperwork, but now there's a support group for the gang shows when there used to be within HQ, Scouting HQ in Gilwell in near London. Um, and there's now a support group for us. We all know each other. We meet regularly and go through stuff. So that's quite good. But I'm not part of the actual committee stuff. Got too much on. Too much on.
Just juggling too much. So do you I don't know what the ages are for scouts, but getting students, let's bring it back to driving for a little bit. Do you work for, well, you're a franchisee, franchise, whatever the word is. Do
Yeah,
they provide you with your students? Do you have your own marketing? How do you find that? Because
they had provided me with students, and they do initially was great. Loads of them come through. Some rubbish, some spot on, exactly what we need. They've changed the way they're monitoring their students as well now. So they've learned a lot through what they're doing. They've taken in a lot of staff internally and doing different things differently to what they were doing. And they're growing. I think they've got the one of the fastest growing schools at the moment. I get a lot of my pupils word of mouth now. I've got a waiting list. And I feel that if I do need them, I will probably go back and ask. They still get them through the website. They still get people through the website. They still get the odd query, being kind of, can you take this person on? But we have to tell them every month, yeah, I've got gaps. I can take more people in, and then I'll start to bring more people in. Or, this is how many hours I do a month. This is how many hours I've set aside to do the job. So there's no real pressure to say, right, you need 40 people on your books, and you've got to be out every hour of the week. Not putting that sort of pressure on. They sort of say, well, okay, you're happy with what you're doing, fine. Okay, we'll support you with training, we'll support you with advertising and stuff like that. But and we have surgeries and stuff like I said before. But at the moment, it's a lot of word of mouth. You thought I'd get a lot from scouting with the top age, I've got occasional one or two word of mouth that goes out. I've got a couple on my books that are within scouting. But it's amazing, you pass. I got someone through scouting looks after horses, and they pass it down the stables, and now I think I passed about 3 or 4 of the girls through it. So they all recommendation. So that's good. So it's word of mouth, I think now. More than anything else, I'm getting through, and I got a waiting list for people who want to come on. So I think obviously with your conversations with people, everyone says it's very hard to find a driving instructor at the moment. We're all busy, and I think that's right. We are busy, but there's only a certain amount of time in the day you can do stuff. I've tried to do, I can't remember how many, in a day, and it just blew my mind. I can't do that every day for 7 days a week. 52 weeks a year. You've got to, got to back off and give you time for your brain to come back, and do stuff, and get the car serviced and, service yourself, making sure the family life is balance is right.
that's something that I struggled with when I went full time. I was saying yes to everyone and soon became very busy. And now I'm trying to do the opposite and trying to work slightly less hours and see the kids and the family. And I didn't listen to one of my friends. He was like, Josh, you can't take everyone on. Don't do that. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'll be all right. It's fine. And
Mm.
now I'm like, uh-oh, I wish I listened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it's
as a PDI, as on, I think I took as many things as I could. I wanted to learn. I wanted to find out. I wanted to be there, and do it and take as many as on. And it is a learning curve. And you've got to, as you say, Josh, you got that balance. The job does allow you to work hours you want, and you've got to be strong. I've got to take this week off. I've got to take 2 weeks off. Or things do crop up. Where families that we just have to say to them, look, I can't do tomorrow because something's happened. And you just have to be honest with them. But yeah, you try to fit everyone in and try to rush from give yourself 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, from rush from one job to another job to another job. try to get from, 7 o'clock in the morning, or 8 o'clock or whatever, to 7 o'clock at night or whatever the hours are, that's impossible. You come home Saturday and you just can't do that day in, day out.
No, it's something that I'm more aware of now and making sure that if I'm working later in the evening, I have a break during the day,
Yeah,
so that I can just eat and recharge before I go again. So almost
yeah,
split the day into two halves
yeah. No,
because it can become very easy to have 6 lessons back to back. And then you're like, uh-oh, I've not had any food, not done anything apart from drive, deliver lesson, drive to the next one. But yeah, that's something that I'm more conscious of now. Have time off and not work every hour that's sent.
yeah. And don't be
How,
and don't be pressurized and pushed by other people to say, look, please take me on, please take me on. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And I can't find anyone. Mm. It's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, we go for the assessment drive, but that's it. I can tell you that, yeah, you need at least 10 hours, or you need at least 20 hours, to get through. But at the moment, I can't do it. If you're prepared to wait, or I can put you on to someone else.
yeah, that's been my biggest lesson is just say no. Work the hours that you've set out because before you know it, you're working till 8, 9 o'clock at night, which is no
Yeah,
good for anyone.
yeah, yeah,
But how do you find do you still do training with the franchise then? You've said about the surgeries. Are they almost ongoing training that
yeah,
you guys get from the school?
yeah, yeah. There's standards checks process that goes through. I have a syllabus which they go through, and we have surgeries as well once a month. We can get on and just vent anything, or ask anything, or discuss anything that's coming up, stuff like that. So yeah, it's always make time for them, and I'm conscious about putting them in my diary to make sure we're, wherever I am. If I'm in the car, charge the phone up and I'll listen and join in the car. You know, if not, I'll go into a cafe somewhere and put the headphones on and join in on the Costa or whatever, or Tesco's or whatever.
That's good to know. That's something that I've not really seen happening before. Obviously, I've got very limited knowledge, but that ongoing support from a school must give you a lot of benefit in itself because like for myself, I'm on my own, independent. So I've got a few driving instructors that I reach out to, but I'm now at the stage where I need to start lining up some CPD and preparing for when that letter comes that I need to get a standards check. So it's good to see that you're getting the training and
Yeah,
ongoing support.
and I think that's why we're at the school, to be honest. And I think at the moment, you pay that money, you've got to get something back for it. You got to buy a lovely sort of t-shirt, and there's lots of other goodies they throw at you. When you qualify and stuff. But you've got to get something back for your money. I pay them on a weekly basis. I've got to get something back for their money. So I know a lot of schools, a lot of big schools, you get a car through them and they do advertising and blah blah blah. I bought my own car, so that's, I just pay the franchise fee on a weekly basis, and I want something back for it. So at the moment, I feel like I am. Down the line, I might want to go independently, but the plan is at the moment, 2 3 years, and we'll see where we go from here.
It's good. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Any
Um,
advice, any tips for people?
It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, because
Yeah,
everyone's different. Everyone's got a different look in life. But um, I think the biggest one is, yeah, you're just not alone out there. You make other friends within the industry, and talk to them and have some time down. Don't work your butt off. I do work 7 days a week. As you said, you try to get time off, a good few hours, or a morning off, or a whole day off if possible, just to get away from it all. There are certain times in the diaries that you're booked down. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to take that weekend off, a long weekend. Bank holiday Mondays and etc. That's all off. I don't work any of those. So I think it's just, look what you want out of it. Um, yeah, yeah, you can earn a lot of money from it. I know a lot of people who work all the hours and work a lot of money from it. They don't have any other only have it in their lives, to be honest. And they do get a lot of money from it, but you know, that's not the be all and end all, is it? Yeah. Helping out, rewarding. It is rewarding at the end of the day. It is very rewarding. So, yeah, it's lonely but rewarding. But make some friends in the group. Go around visiting all the big conferences and stuff like that, and get as much use from the associations and conferences as you can as well. I think it's good. It's good stuff.
Good. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for your time.